Scoring on a mature buck these days, you have to take everything to the extreme, being in the whitetail woods nearly every spare second, from picking up shed antlers in the spring, to glassing for bucks in velvet, to snapping trail monitor pictures the year round. In this production, we will take you on an unbelievable journey through several whitetails' lives spanning over 5 years. 9 unbelievable hunts, 7 by bow, 2 by muzzleloader. Over 1,500 inches of antler are found within. I'm Mark Drury, welcoming you to Whitetails, taking it to the extreme too.
Well, deer season was finally here, and after a full season of filming bucks in velvet and taking some great photos on trail cameras, I was ready to get in a tree. One buck I was really wanting to get a chance at was a big 6x7 with split G2s. We had a couple of pictures of this buck and figured with the rut getting close, I would try hunting wherever most of the does were feeding on a partially cut cornfield.
The evening was clear and cool. A light westerly breeze aroused the smells that said autumn was alive. The rut was indeed close at hand, and a partially cut cornfield served as the perfect stage for Act 1 in this whitetail epic. Candy Kiske has her sights on a rather elusive character. 2 chance trail monitor photos indicated a magnificent trophy with impressive headgear called this part of the farm home. Everyone, please take your seats. The curtain has lifted. It's time to enjoy the show.
Smell this one bit.
This majestic whitetail again makes his presence known. At least on this evening, he seems to be king of the food plot. A slow, cautious, and patient approach must be utilized. To shoot at this distance would certainly prove to be futile. The chess match is on. The buck must make the next move. Would he come within Candy's effective range? Time will tell if stand placement is perfect or simply 10 yards too far. Nerves peak, hearts race. The waiting game is on. My, what a tense start to Candy season.
a crack at him. He's chasing the does all over the place, and does right there. Didn't even bother. This field just filled up. He kept presenting me a 40-yard shot, and I just didn't feel comfortable taking that, so I just he finally bumped it down when I found him. And he moved so far back, but what an awesome buck. Oh, look at him. He's got beautiful G2s split on both sides. Nice brow tines, beautiful buck. Boy, he had me tied up in knots all night. He was chasing those does forever. He just was not gonna leave that field for nothing. There must have been a hot doe in the area. To top it all off, I have a trail monitor picture of this buck. This is just awesome. What a way to start the season. I'm fired up. It's late October and the rut's just starting to begin, so it's gonna be a great year.
You know what, putting these trail cameras out, it can be a very beneficial scouting tool, combining it with the velvet sightings and the sheds that you're picking up. By combining all these different tools, you can get a great idea of this buck's home core area. Throughout the last 10 years, we've taken a lot of great trail monitor pictures of these bucks, and you'd be surprised of how many that we have harvested within 100 to 200 yards where we took those pictures at. A lot of the places I like to put these cameras in the summertime are on gate gaps, mineral licks, and edge of standing bean fields or cornfields. Pretty much any place that you can narrow these deer down and get them to walk within 5 yards of your camera. But again, I say it's a very good scouting tool, and it's a lot of fun to go pick that film off to see if you might have that one next giant. You know, sometimes it's very difficult to pass up a 3.5-year-old buck, especially when he scores in the 140s. But sometimes they make some of their best jumps from 3 to 4 years old. In a perfect world, it'd be nice if we could let all these bucks live to 5 or 6 years old. But by that time, they become so highly educated, they just almost become unkillable.
Every hunter drifts off to past encounters, a chance sighting, a quick brushy glimpse, or a hunt where passing an animal gave just cause to second guess.
Man, you gotta love late season hunting. They're beautiful bucks. Every buck in the country stacking here, look at that. They're all younger bucks, but they're all nice. Nice buck. That is awesome. Some neat stuff coming at us there. Boy, nice buck. That's a 2 or 3-year-old, nice 9-point. Bunch of nice 8s. 9-pointer out there. Good looking bucks, but we're looking for a 4 or 5-year-old, a better buck than that. These are great bucks. Give them 2 years, buddy. They'll be nice bucks. Oh my. What is he? What do we got? No. Nice 10. Ooh, he's pretty nice looking, ain't he? What is he? They've got a good start going. These deer are flat stacking in. Nice buck. He's a dandy buck. But his G4s are a little weak. And I'm almost certain he's a 3-year-old buck. There's a good look at his brow tines. There's a good look at him right there. That deer is real close to 150, 145. Close to 150. He's tough to pass, but I'm going to. He's just young yet. I just can't do it. This is worth it just to be able to watch a buck like that. My hunts may just get an opportunity at him. Just get an opportunity. That deer is real close to 150, 145. Close to 150. He's tough to pass, but I'm going to.
Dream time ends as a ghost from the past makes a welcome entrance. No more wondering, no more dreaming, no more second guessing last year's decision. The moment of truth has arrived once again. Reality reminds us they don't read our script. Our leading character is exiting stage left. A once quickened pulse slows to a crawl as your heart sinks to its lowest depths. That once sure bet has another draw on his mind. Instinct kicks in. You've seen his type before. He's in the right mood, looking for company. It's time to address what he said through his lustful grunts and convince him to come closer than before.
We got him. He's down. Down. Yes! Awesome, baby. Yes! I am so pumped. We did everything to get that buck over here. Whew. That's the same buck we passed up last year on a food plot. 3.5-year-old buck just wasn't quite good enough. He turned into a pig. To say I'm excited is an understatement right now. We brought him back with the last, I did a doe bleat and then grunted again. He turned, came right in, worked his scrape right into the tree. Unbelievable. I drew back and held for about a minute. Finally, he gave me a shot. It was slightly cornered too, but right behind the front shoulder. Whew. Awesome. Oh. I'm gonna sit down for a while.
Man, what a great buck. What an exciting hunt that was for me. We really got lucky bringing him back with that grunt tube like that. But this buck here, we passed him up when he was 3.5 years old. He came in late season on a food plot. We knew he was a young buck, so we passed him up. That spring, not 100 yards from where we passed him up, we picked up a shed, picked up one side, and this summer we got 2 trail camera pictures within 100 yards of where I picked up the shed. So you can see, I mean, the encounters with him, picking up the sheds and the trail camera pictures, it just, it clearly defined his home core area. And I really feel that that's what helped us harvest this buck. What a beauty. Well, what a great decision it was to pass that buck up at 3.5 years old. He grew almost 20 inches from 3 to 4. Now let's join a good friend of mine, Herb Schultz and Ryan McCann from Pike County, Illinois. That fall they've been seeing a lot of good bucks, and they had one buck in particular they had a good trail monitor picture too. And Ryan actually did something that doesn't happen very often. They rattled this buck in and he misses it, and then got the opportunity and grunted him in again and made the second shot count.
Crystal clear blue skies allow the morning sun to light up a November hardwood ridge. What a perfect scenario for Ryan's rattling sequence. Ryan McCann is enjoying a weekend away from his trade as a veterinarian. His passion and love for animals goes well beyond the confines of the office. Like you and me, there's a true passion that burns each and every fall. Today, his dreams would become a reality. A curious buck comes to investigate the mock battle he just heard.
Standing over there.
A miss is just never in the plans. Now what? Common sense and a cool head should prevail. Our curious buck doesn't know what happened. Ryan's never give in attitude proves the reward can be so much sweeter the second time around.
Here he comes down to the woods.
buck. I shot and missed him right here. The sun was in my face. Grunted him back in. Got down there about 20 yards. I didn't know if he was gonna stop. I think I kind of hit him just a little far forward. I think he's down already. No, right up there. Heck of a buck. Whew. Heck of a buck. Look at this big hog. Look at the neck on this guy. He's huge. I'll tell you what, there's nothing better than harvesting a mature whitetail buck. I mean, this guy was oblivious to us. I mean, we rattled him in. He didn't come in the beginning. We grunted him over. He came right in like we pulled him in on a string. Just unbelievable what managing a deer herd will do for you as far as getting a mature buck. And just look at this guy. I mean, he's got terrific mass. He's not real wide, but he makes up for it in other spots. His brow tines are just unbelievable. 6-7 inches long. He's got a G2 over here, is palmated a little bit. Just a fabulous buck. A deer of a lifetime for a lot of people, and this is one of mine, I guarantee you. What a hunt.
Well, congratulations, Ryan, on an awesome 8-pointer. You know, it's not often that you get a second chance at a buck after you miss him, but Ryan grunted that buck back and made the second shot count. Now let's go on an early season hunt with Lee Lukoski in Buffalo County, Wisconsin. Like all of us last fall, Lee was dealing with terribly hot and dry conditions, but that was exactly what he had hoped for. Typically, we hunt bedding areas in the mornings and feeding areas in the evenings, but when temperatures are above 70 degrees, most of us think deer movement will be terribly suppressed. Lee is going to show us just how incredible the hunting can be on these water holes, especially the water holes close to the bedding areas.
By late October, the hills and hollows of Buffalo County, Wisconsin take on a special meaning for the whitetail hunter. This slice of near-perfect habitat is the choice of preference today for Lee Lukoski. Lee finds himself atop of one of the many ridges Buffalo County outfitters call their own. A secluded waterhole provides the perfect magnet as temperatures exceed their normal range.
Unbelievable. Oh man, won't be needing this arrow. Oh my gosh. Oh. Let me tell you, we're hunting out here with a good friend of ours, Ted Morrow, and he owns Buffalo County Outfitters. And we were on this stand earlier, about a week and a half ago, and we had a giant come in, and we messed it up between the cameraman, who was me, and the hunter. And now it's Halloween, it's been warm and windy. We decided to set up on the same pond. And we got out here early, about 2 o'clock. I don't know, it must be 3 o'clock now. And here he comes. I had a small window, about a 4-inch window to shoot through.
but I had to take it. The wind is blowing hard right at the pond. And if he takes another step to get around where he's in the open, he got wind of us and flew out of there like what happened this morning. We had a nice buck come in, and I wasn't going to shoot him anyway. He was a little bit smaller, but he went down to take a drink and looked right up at us and boogered out of here. But look at that. Shot him 20 yards, dropped 10 yards. Unbelievable. Yes. Awesome hunt. Unbelievable. Look at this monster buck. Tell you what, we're hunting with a good friend of ours, Ted Marham, owns Buffalo County Outfitters. He got one picture of this deer on Cam Tracker. This thing's been so elusive. Hunted all year, nobody's seen him. One picture of him with all the cameras we got out. And here it is, Halloween. Warm out. Decided to sit on one of Ted's water holes, and here he comes. Early too. I think it was, well, I couldn't have been later than 3 o'clock. We weren't in the stand for more than 45 minutes, and here he comes, big dog. I'm down drinking water, and good shot. 10 yards from the stand. Unbelievable. Yes.
Man, what an exciting hunt we had. I tell you, in all my years of bow hunting, I've never saw where you make a perfect shot on a deer and he ends up falling at the base of the tree. Sure made for a short track job for him, but he didn't realize it at the time, but they also had a beautiful trail monitor picture to this deer. So everything came together for him. We're gonna stay in Buffalo County now, and again, we're gonna be hunting over a water hole with Tiffany Profant, and she has an awesome encounter with a magnificent buck.
Choosing the correct stand to hunt is part knowledge, part gut instinct, and part good luck. Confidence to hunt any stand more than once definitely rises when target animals are spotted at close range.
Well, I'm here hunting in Buffalo County again, and it's the 16th of October. It's actually a pretty tough time to be hunting right now. Now, right now, we're situated on a water hole here, and it's actually a perfect location for this time of year because the deer are bedded up right behind us, and there's a trail going right down by our water hole all the way down to the food source below us. So hopefully I have a good feeling tonight, and hopefully it'll be a sign of what's to come.
Let's drift back in time by 2 weeks and witness firsthand why Lee had chosen that water hole in the previous hunt. Lee's better half, Tiffany, shows that a commitment to management and capturing the entire hunt on film are both worthy causes.
I just need one a little bit bigger. almost right below our tree stand. I was at full draw when that buck was at 15 yards, and I was waiting for the okay from my cameraman to shoot. And he was telling me to shoot, but he was saying it so quietly that I couldn't hear him. He's actually on the other side of this tree. We had those doors below us, so it was just a whisper, and I never heard him. It's just a tragic turn of events.
Boy, I think we've all been there before, waiting for the signal to shoot. That had to hurt to see a buck of that caliber walk off. But a couple of days later, again found Tiffany in a tree, and this time persistence pays off on a beautiful Wisconsin buck.
Call it bad luck, missed communication, or whatever, my hat's off to Tiffany. I know of very few hunters committed enough to video that would allow a 160 to pass by unscathed. Hopefully, her commitment and level head will provide dividends for all of us to watch and enjoy in future productions. Way to go, Tiffany.
This is awesome. It's the beginning of the run. It's just starting to chase that dog. Presents me with an awesome shot.
Hunting the whitetail deer can provide the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. Following the blood trail of any animal, knowing your prize may await you at the other end is atop the list of bow hunting's most anxious moments. Man, what a feeling.
Man, oh man, last night we decided to just leave him bed overnight. And it turned out to be a great idea because he was just where we thought he would be. This is an awesome buck. It's kind of scary. We thought it was going to maybe rain last night. And I was really nervous about having to try to find a blood trail with the rain, but it didn't matter because he was right where I thought he'd be. What an awesome buck. Absolutely amazing.
By seeing a lot of these bucks in velvet or taking trail pictures of them has really helped give us the confidence of knowing what caliber of bucks are on our farm. Another buck I couldn't wait to see was a buck with a double beam. We had seen him only once in velvet and had one picture of him, but this gave us a good starting point, and it was just one of those mornings I knew something good was going to happen.
Well, you can't win them all, and the buck just never gave Candy a good angle. Then about a week later, we had a good friend of ours up, Stan Potts, and he got a crack at this buck, and when the opportunity presented itself, he made it happen. It was a beautiful buck.
Look at that. The big double beam, that's what he is, the big double beam buck. Holy smokes. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Whew. Gee, my Natalie. Oh my God. Whew. What a buck. What a hunt. What a hunt. I'll tell you what, this is the 5th day of a 6-day hunt. We were thinking about leaving right after the morning hunt because of tremendous snowstorms coming in. They're calling for 12 inches up in Minnesota where Pat lives, and 6 inches here, and we was afraid we couldn't get home tomorrow, and I got a hunt that starts tomorrow afternoon, and so we were thinking about it, but what a hunt.
It's cold, bitter cold. November's rut cycle has now passed, and the white-tailed deer enacts a strong resolve to combat the crucial temperatures. What a setting to discover a 3.5-year-old treasure that calls this remote food plot part of his home. Now the game starts. A true potential trophy exists. Wheels begin to turn, anticipating next fall's strategy. A total commitment to management allows this treasure a free pass, at least for now. The beautiful 6x6 frame atop this buck's head earned him the name Typical 12. I ask you, how many hunters do you know that would allow a buck of this magnitude to pass? Time will tell if Candy's decision pays off.
After seeing this buck on a food plot during late season, we knew next year he would be 4 years old and a lot bigger. In March that spring, we found one shed on that same food plot, a 7-point side. This was just one of those bucks who seemed like he lived in a real small area. It was pre-rut and it was a drizzly, nasty evening, perfect for hunting the same field from the year before.
A year later, with weather again forcing the animal's hand, the same remote plot again serves as the meeting place with this extraordinary 12-point marvel. My, what changes a year brings to a buck's appearance. Such a small investment yields one of nature's highest returns. It's now time for Candy to collect her reward for last December's decision.
It's 40 yards right now. Meh. Shoot, right underneath him.
Man, do I wish I could have clicked him first with my rangefinder. I was just sick over that. Later that season, we had Realtree owner Bill Jordan up on a muzzleloader hunt. And on the third evening, guess who walks in? The typical 12. The buck we've been after for the last 2 years. And Bill made a great shot. Congratulations, Bill, on a great buck.
Look at this awesome deer. Isn't this great? In December, what can I say? Let's take a look at him first. Exactly what we thought he was, exactly what Don thought he was, a 12 point. Got good G2s and 3s right there. 4s, I mean, all the way out. I can't be any happier. And look at this right here. You know, when he was coming across that field, I saw that patch of snow right on his forehead, and you know, there it is. But just a great, great deer.
Well, I've got some of the sheds here in front of me that I found over the last 10 years. I get asked 3 important questions about sheds and shed antler hunting in general. Number 1 is, why do you look for sheds? Well, I look for sheds for a couple different reasons. Number 1, the woods are laid out like a book at that time of the year. All the scrapes, the rubs, and all the signs are real easy to read. Number 2 reason being, you get to learn so much about that individual deer. When he drops a shed from 2 to 3 to 4 years old, you get to kind of put all that together and kind of get a pattern on that deer. The next question I get asked is, when do you start looking for these sheds? Here in the Midwest, most of your shedding, it seems to me, is done anywhere from the 1st of February all the way through till usually March 20th. The biggest mistake a lot of guys make is they do go too early. You'd be amazed how many deer that I see carrying antlers clear into the 1st of April. But main thing is just don't go too early. If you are running these trail cameras, use those trail cameras to allow you to take pictures of these bucks and see which ones have shed, and that way you won't start too early. The last question that I get probably asked the most is where? Where do I look for these sheds? Well, any place that you can concentrate these deer would be a great place to start. Any food source that you can go to, and the colder the winter, the better it is. The deeper the snow, the more the deer stack in, and the less distance they travel from food to the bedding areas when it's cold like that. But around these food sources, the deer get to do a lot of fighting and sparring, and obviously they pop a shed off right there. Probably 90% of these antlers I found in and around a food source. Main thing is, it's a great time to get out in the woods, and it's just a lot of fun.
Wow, look at that horn. Tell you what, we're just over here. Our stand isn't 30 yards away from here, probably 20. Just over here making some adjustments, and I got up there and I saw something white sticking out of the leaves, and look at that. Nice horn from last year. Tell you what, the strange thing about it is I found the other side. I'm sure it's the other side of this buck has this big, huge brow tine. The 2 was broken off of it though, but it's about 50 yards on the other side of the stand. I'm sure it's off the same buck. I can't believe I didn't notice this yesterday. Here's one I told you about. It has a broken G2. Here's a horn I just found, I guess it was 20 minutes ago. But it's definitely a match set. Look at those big brows on that thing. Then we set this stand up to overlook this wheat field, and there's a good trail going right here along between the creek and the field. And on this match set from last year, let's hope this buck shows up on this field this year. Great buck.
Whitetail antlers. Oh, what they've come to mean for so many hunters. Each is unique to the animal who bears them. Like a fingerprint, each and every one so carelessly cast by the animal in spring, they are a critical piece to the whitetail puzzle. Correct assessment of their final resting place once cast can help yield fantastic results.
Thanksgiving Day, and I can't believe it. It couldn't have worked out any better. It's been really hot down here in Kansas, and we haven't been seeing much for bucks, and I just hit the horns. It was slow this morning. Didn't really see anything. I hit the horns, and I hear one coming. Hit the grunt tube again, and here he comes right into the scrape there. I thought he had me busted. He was looking right at me for a couple minutes, and finally he turned to walk away, and I had just a quick shot, and I got him, and he's down right there. Yes. Man, it's a good buck too. Oh, man. Look at that buck. You know what? I believe I found the sheds to this buck yesterday. I found one side yesterday and one side the day before from last year. Look at that deer. Stickers. Wow. When I saw this buck coming in, I really had no idea that he was this big. Look at that. Tell you what, on this property here, I've been seeing some of these big rubs like this over there, and a lot of them have had these two big, deep grooves in it. And we're thinking, geez, that buck must have some big stickers. And look at that. Right off his base is this two huge stickers. And that must have been, this must be the guy making these rubs. Wow, what a Kansas whitetail. Look at that. One, almost a two there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 points. Look at them brow tines. Man, what a giant. Yes.
Well, I sure hate to see that. We were walking out of bow stand this morning. We're walking along the edge of CRP here, and we thought we smelled something. And I went down to the creek, just right down the creek there, and one of my big 5-year-olds was dead right there in the creek. It had washed up against a floodgate. But I didn't know how he would have died or anything, but I got to looking, and right in the middle of his head is a big tine, sticking right in the middle of the head. It's either a tine or another base growing out of there, but it looks like a tine. The thing that I don't understand is it's kind of rubbed on the top. That's what doesn't make sense. So if it is a tine, it looks like he's carried it for a while, so maybe that's not what killed him. But he was a beautiful 5-year-old. We've had a lot of encounters with him, but this is actually one of the bucks on our farm that we hadn't seen for about 3 years during the rut. I always saw him late season, but I never saw him during the rut. What a shame. These bucks, they get into a lot of different situations during the rut. If it's not for coyotes or getting stuck in fences or whatever, there's just a high mortality rate for these bucks. I'll have to cut the skull plate off at home and see for sure if that's a tine or a third base. What a deal. And what a shame. That buck with the tine in his head, we were really excited to have a chance to take him that fall, but just one of those crazy things. It seems like when you're managing for these upper age end deer, 5, 6, and 7-year-old deer, there's just a lot of things that can happen to them. A couple years back, I found a switchgrass buck that got his rack stuck in a buck rub and died. Last year, while riding around the farm, I saw a buck that got his feet tangled up in a barbed wire fence and didn't make it. This year, while shed hunting, found these 3 bucks, and a couple of them may have got poached, I don't know, but this was a 9-year-old. He probably died of old age. I've got all the trail cameras pictures to him, got all the sheds. We just couldn't get close enough. Another buck we were really excited about was this 6-year-old. Again, we've got all the sheds and have taken a lot of great trail camera pictures to him, but just, again, we couldn't get close enough to harvest him. Same with this buck. I had a great encounter with him this year and just snapped some great photos of him, but it just goes to show you by getting out there and doing this shed hunting, you learn about which bucks made it and which bucks didn't.
Regardless of where, when, or how you hunt, one consistent factor will always affect your outcome. Winds come from many directions and can change randomly depending upon weather system and stand positioning. Your best friend at times and your worst enemy at others.
I've had a couple opportunities in bucks. Been on some real thumpers lately. Head start. It's just a nice 2.5-year-old. Tell you what, he's got pretty good genetics. He'll be a nice buck in about 2 years, 2-3 years. Well, it's a good sign. I must not stink too bad. He's straight downwind.
If there is one certainty when it comes to the wind, nothing knows how to always use it to their advantage like the wild deer that deal with it 24 hours each and every day of their life.
One absolute giant. I knew it when we set up tonight. I knew it. My wind was just too quartering. He got us. There's a big difference between 6-year-old or 5-year-old bucks and 2.5, and you just saw the difference. 2.5 straight downwind. He smelled us, didn't care. He smelled us a little bit, and that's all it took. I might have been able to crank off a 50, but I ain't gonna do it. Not on a deer like that. Oh. Unbelievable giant. I think that's the buck I had a crack at out of the same tree last year. That's him. I'm looking forward to getting another crack at him. Next time I'll make sure the wind's right.
Indeed, the wind was right the next time. Only one day later, Don ventured out to one of his favorite stands, and guess who showed up again? But this tale has a much different ending.
Man alive, what an awesome buck. I never realized I'd be lucky enough. The very first evening that my wife and I filmed him, we knew he was a giant. And one day I go without the camera. The only day I slip into a bedding area the very next morning, and guess who shows up? What a monster deer. He is awesome. Wow. I saw him up in the cedars chasing does around. I gave him one grunt, and he walked right in underneath my stand. Sometimes I think those cameras are a jinx. He is nice. Good looking buck.
A calm, overcast, and unusually warm morning serves as the perfect time for Tiffany to venture into the edge of a known bedding area. Bow in hand, Tiffany's resolve to harvest a buck on film remains firmly in place. Let's see if she can again be rewarded for her diligent approach to this extremely difficult task.
I saw the buck with the split skin. He just snuck up right behind us. There was no way I could get a shot at him. I tried grunting at him, but he just wanted no part of it, so I guess I hope that he'll make a circle and come back down.
What a great looking buck that was. He had a really neat looking split G2 on him. You know, sometimes during the rut, these bucks get so interested in chasing does that you just can't get them to stop long enough for a shot. And that's kind of what happened to Tiffany there, but 3 days later, she was back in the tree again, and wouldn't you know it, but in walks a split G2 buck again.
Yes. Gosh, I just shot a nice buck. We've been sitting here all morning, and as you can see, it's so foggy out. And just a few minutes ago, actually, as the buck walked by, it was like the first time we could even see more than 20, 30 yards. Gosh, I don't even know if we got him on film good. It just happened so quick.
Tiffany's diligence is again rewarded. Her relentless approach is to be applauded. Congratulations again, Tiffany.
Gosh, it's the 15th of November. I'm down in Kansas hunting, and today was our first break in the weather. It was 41 degrees today, and the last week it's been between 67 and 80 degrees every day. It's really heavy fog today, and he just appeared out of nowhere. We actually saw him a few days ago, and he came in at 10 yards, but he was on the other side of my tree stand, so I wasn't able to get a shot at him, but my camera guy got him on film. This buck is the biggest buck by far that I have shot. This is so neat. He's got this awesome split. He's got this little sticker coming off his brow tine. I am just tickled with this buck. He's awesome.
You know, sometimes I felt like I was hunting a ghost. The double drop tine just didn't show itself very much. The thing that we couldn't understand is he dropped every shed from 3 on, from 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We found all the sheds in and around that food plot, but just couldn't see him. And another thing that really bugged us is we couldn't see this buck in velvet. You know, he was 8 years old now, and we had never seen him in velvet. Well, one summer evening, I was on a secluded bean field, and I remember I had my spotting scope set up, and 3 or 4 really nice bucks walked out first. And boy, to my disbelief, out walked the double drop tine. I just couldn't believe it. Had 2 beautiful long drop tines that year, but the next time we'd see him would be November 2nd. It was Candy's turn to hunt. We were hunting the edge of a food plot, and like I say, the rut was just heating up, and I remember Candy saying, "There's a big buck coming," and we both looked over, and there stood the double drop. It was unbelievable.
Bucks everywhere tonight. It's pre-rut. It is getting ready to go into full swing. November 1. It's early this year.
The next time I'd have a really close encounter to him would end up being during the late season. We knew this buck was eating on a food plot, but we also knew that he wasn't making it till dark. So our plan was to bump off the food plot towards the bedding area about 400 or 500 yards and try to cut off the distance. So we'd be able to get a chance at seeing him before it got dark. Sure enough, we were set up, had 15 minutes of light left, and I remember my wife saying, "Don, there's a big buck coming down the draw." I threw the glasses up, and unbelievable, here come the double drop tine.
The mature bucks haven't been walking on the food plot, so we decided to bump off the food plot about 400 yards between the food plot and the bedding area, trying to cut them off. So stands are already in. Jay Gregory and I hung stands yesterday down here, and I'm gonna see what happens tonight. Let's go crawl in. These smart bucks are not walking on the food, so we'll try to trick them tonight. Get up here. First things first, put my safety belt on. I saw something move up there. I saw something move up the ditch. There he went, baby. There he went. Double drop time. He just fell. Oh, can't believe it. I can't believe this is a dream. I'm telling you, I've been after that buck for 7 years. I am not believing this. Holy cow. He come down the ditch. He walked all the way into us, stood behind that tree for the longest time. I thought we was going to lose our light. He ended up turning and going behind that locust tree. I had one hole through that locust tree that I could see him. I made a good shot. Yes. This is an absolute dream come true for me. Out of any buck on this farm, that's the buck that I dreamt about, the double drop tine. He's awesome. We've got all the sheds. Yes, yes, baby. Oh, gosh.
The old warrior of any buck on this farm. Believe me, this is the one I wanted. Awesome. Big old double drop tine buck. Look at that. The old drop tine buck. He was an absolute legend here on this farm. We first started picking his sheds up when he was 2.5 years old. There's this 2.5-year-old shed. From 2.5 to 3.5 to 4.5. We got him all the way to 7 or 8 years old. We missed 1 year. I'm not quite for sure if he's 7 or if he's 8 years old, but what a true trophy. Be able to manage to take a double drop tine. That was an exciting hunt. It finally took a little different approach for this buck. Instead of hunting like we normally do and hunting up on the food plots, letting them come to us, we had to go and cut him off between the bedding and the feeding areas. He just was, he's 7 years old. He doesn't act like a 2 or 3-year-old buck. Took a little different approach, but we got him. He is an old warrior. He could tell some stories. Got some neat velvet footage of him, and we've picked his sheds up, like I say, every year since he was 2 years old. I'm really, really proud of this deer. What a great buck.
Not often do big bucks show themselves during the daylight hours. If they do, it is normally during the rut or occasionally in the summertime. By glassing for bucks in velvet, it just allows you to have one more tool combined with trail monitor pictures, picking up their sheds, and all the encounters to figuring out that buck's home core area. I normally glass from a distance overlooking soybean fields and corn fields, and the best time is during the July and August months, the first 30 minutes of the morning or the last 30 minutes of the evening. And it's just that one time that you might get that rare glimpse of that true monster when you're out there.
The big 7 was another buck on our farm that was about as hard to spot as the double drop tine was. It all started when he was 2.5 years old. We started finding his sheds all the way from 2 clear up to 7 years old, but we could never see him in velvet, and we really looked hard. Finally, one year when he was 6 years old, I was looking in a secluded bean field on the corner of our property, and sure enough, out walks the big 7. We got a nice piece of footage of him that night, and again, that season rolled around, and he just couldn't get close enough to him to harvest that deer. When he was 7 years old, again, we looked hard for him in velvet and spotted him in the same secluded bean field, and he walked out that night, and I got a short piece of footage of him, and then we knew he had blew into a monster. He was an awesome buck. Well, by now, after picking up all the sheds to this deer for over 5 years and spotting him finally in velvet when he was 6 and 7 years old, we felt like we had a pretty good chance at harvesting this buck. We kind of, had his home core area figured out. I remember one morning in particular, Candy and I were standing at the truck, and we had 2 trees that were a couple hundred yards from each other, but you could see the other tree from the other one. So, you guessed it, we picked the wrong tree, and that morning we saw the big 7 stand underneath the other tree for over an hour. It was very frustrating.
Well, a couple nights ago, Dawn and I were hunting about 400 yards, and we got out of stand early because we weren't seeing anything, and walked to the top of this hill, and we were glassing this cut cornfield, and we saw the big 7 underneath our stands that we've got on the far edge over here in the corner. Well, obviously the wind's not right for it, so we've picked some trees on this side of the ditch, about 300 yards, and we've got two trees picked out. We've got our stands and our steps, and so we're just going to go for broke and see what happens. So. Give it a shot. Get my safety belt out.
It was a calm, unseasonably warm evening in early January that Don and Candy ventured out to try and get a rare glimpse at the 7-year-old buck known as the Big 7. This mature buck had eluded danger for many years, but still they maintained high hopes that he might show.
They're moving. Just a matter of time before the big blow show.
Any hunter dreams of seeing a particular deer. Don and Candy had spent countless evenings before dreaming of just one opportunity at this rather elusive buck. Imagine their delight at even the possibility that tonight would be the night that the Big 7 might just show up.
Oh my gosh, it's a monster bug. got him. That's a monster buck. I think I got him. I've still got a little bit of blood flow. It shouldn't look further. Oh man, I can't wait to. Oh, there he is, Don. Look. There he is. Yes. Oh my God. Oh, look at him.
Oh man, he's just as heavy as the sheds are. He's awesome. Look at these curved, long brow tines. I can't believe it. Don and I have been after this buck for 5 years, and this buck has drove Don and I as crazy as the double drop tine did. To harvest him is just, it made our whole season. We have seen this buck so many times this year and have just dreamed of where he would be. And 2 nights ago, we finally saw him on this cut cornfield, and you know, we hunted one night, I missed a buck, and you know what? Thank goodness I did, because I took a mature 7-year-old, and there's nothing better in the world than that. We have, I think, 5 years of sheds to this buck. Caleb and I picked it up, his sheds up last year, not far from here. Probably just over the hill is where Don filmed him in velvet a couple years ago. And I mean, the circle, we just knew it was his home core area. We had numerous encounters with him over the year, and just, I cannot believe that we finally took the big 7. He's a 9-pointer now, but I'm telling you, I love him. Awesome. My night muzzleloader did the trick. Incredible. Boy, Don, wasn't that an awesome hunt last night?
Man, I'm telling you, what a giant.
To finally get to take the big 7.
What mass. I mean, he's just awesome. Big, huge beams. I never would have thought he could have grew that much between 6 and 7, but he did. He pumped, put some more mass on.
He dropped, well, he dropped actually a point here, but...
He's changed a little bit throughout the years. He started out as a 2-year-old, as a 7-point. Found his sheds at 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Dropped every shed within about a 40-acre piece, too. He had a real small home core area.
How many, and we've filmed him in velvet for the last 2 years. We've been so close this year.
Encounters.
So close.
He is a beauty.
Like after shotgun season, we hadn't seen this buck forever, and after shotgun season, we finally saw him, and man, that made our day, didn't it?
I think my heart was pounding just as hard as yours was, believe me.
And the key to harvesting this buck was actually we got out of stand early and did some scouting because
And just spot him, you bet.
So
Spotted him one evening, moved in 2 days later, and got lucky. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome buck.
On behalf of Kiski Productions and all of us here at Drury Outdoors, I'm Mark Drury, and I'd like to say thank you for choosing Whitetails, taking it to the extreme too. It was produced for you.